train of thought here. So, you know, so we saw you in the UK there at Summer's End, and that looked like a really stressful situation there before going on. There were it was power going out, we had a lot of conversion stuff, and, but you seemed to pull it all together at the last minute there. How was it going for you? You seemed like everyone was nice and relaxed by the time the lights came on, but was that, how was that for you guys?
Because Mark set up all his old equipment, and he kept on, and all the fuses were blowing, and
yeah, Mark uses this like ancient gear,
right?
And sometimes it blows, you know, our own equipment. But it was so funny because he has these vintage, had his rig of samplers, but we were using the keyboards that we borrowed from the bands there, because they didn't have enough keyboard controllers. And we had all of our power conditioners, and that's a very old hall. You know, it's a beautiful place, and so we just kept killing the power. Yeah.
Somebody came in and swooped in and saved the day and fixed it all, and
wasn't that performance great? Wasn't that a fun night?
It was great.
Was it good? It was a little cramped up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we know what. We're used to that.
That was actually spacious compared to where we had played a couple days before. We had played at this really small club in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's right.
And we literally were on. If we took,
we had to angle our bodies so that we didn't bump into each other. If we were in a chorus.
It was, the stage was about the size of this bed that we're all in.
Oh god.
That was a good performance too, despite the fact that there was a lot of feedback.
That performance was really terrible, but
we had fun.
Yeah.
I had the best time ever at Summer's End. That was so great.
Summer's End was lots of fun.
That was like an unusual wave of energy in the audience that came at us and enveloped us the whole set.
For me, it seems very similar to Rosfest. It's like kind of a standing Rosfest. I don't know if what you guys thought about how about the Rosfest? Did you get the energy that you thought you would get, or no? Because it's seated?
No, I mean, it was great. I mean, Rosfest was...
Well, they're very different concerts and very different venues. At Summer's End, it's a smaller stage, and it was really intimate. And we could see everybody in front of us, and the way we could hear ourselves in your monitors and the monitors, we were able to hear ourselves better, so that we were more in touch with how the music was sounding at the moment. At Rosfest, it was bigger and more amazing and more intimidating. The lights were blaring on us, and our in-ear monitors were not working correctly, and we heard kind of what we heard in our ears of what we were playing was difficult to discern what was going on. So while we were conscious that this was an amazing place and there were people there to see us and it was an amazing thing going on, and we were kind of vaguely believing that it was going okay, we also weren't at all sure how it was sounding. And it was just a kind of a more difficult situation to work around in terms of getting the music out.
It's the kind of thing where you're performing with, you know, the sense memory of what it was like in rehearsal. You know, like, I hear the drum, so you know, for me, I'm the one generating the structure of the song. You know, I'm playing the acoustic guitar, and you might not really hear what I'm doing for much of it, but it's the bone structure upon which the rest of the band, you know, is playing with. And so I was like, well, as long as I can hear the drums, I can perform the songs. If I'm the one generating them. There are a couple songs where I have to lock in with the keyboards. There's a song called Candy Brain from Doomsday Afternoon that we play, and the keyboards are doing this weaving thing, and the violin is also doing this nice run up, and I have to you know, listen in those cases, and at Rosfest it was difficult because I couldn't hear anything. So
was that because of the quick sound check, or was that just the general problem here?
I think that we would have found, maybe if we had had a little bit longer sound check, we would have found whatever the issue was. But where I was standing, I was in this sinkhole of sound, and my in-ear monitor was, you know, just kind of very not really transmitting a clear picture. We have these in-ear monitors, and we use them just to transmit our voices, and in my case, my voice and my guitar into one of my ears, because I can't. It helps my pitch when I can hear my voice really close to me, but I don't hear anyone else's voices. It's not like we have a whole mix of the band in our in-ear monitor. It's strictly our own voices.
Okay, it's just that's why people will do this sometimes.
Exactly, it's the same thing, but instead you have it.
You actually Well, Johnny said he was out in the corner and he had no idea what was going on. So
he may have had no idea what was going on for other reasons. But.
So he was like, I was so far off that I was just trying. I was hoping I was somewhere in sync there. How did you? But you heard it since then. Did you think it was? I mean, everybody seemed to like it. Did you? I'm sure you have a higher. I'm sure you're tougher on yourself than maybe the audience is.
That's true. I mean, well, I always think about the mistakes I make and the mistakes, maybe some of the other people make. And then I hear it later on, and I don't notice the mistakes. It's funny because we watched a video of Rosfest a couple of weeks ago, and I liked it a lot more than I remembered.
Yeah.
We played at Orion Studios a couple months later, and that was really fun because we were able to get into the space and, rehearse with that sound and then perform on the very place, on the very stage that we've been rehearsing for the last couple of days. So that was really comfortable.
Right. Well, what did you think? We saw the, what's the video, Raina, that T-Rex Romantic Warriors. We saw that. What did you think of that cut? When I heard Crumble on there, I thought that was so cool because they've got you in a hallway on a piano, and then they cut into the is it the German?
It was from France, from
France.
Festival Crescendo.
Crescendo show. I thought that sounded great. Did you?
That was fun.
With that?
Oh, absolutely. What happened was I ran into Adele and Jose at Nearfest. And, I've spoken to Jose in the past, and so he recognized me, and they explained that they were here at Nearfest that year to do a documentary on some of the performers, and would I be willing to talk to them? So we went up to a rehearsal room, and they asked me to play some of my music, which was problematic because I can't play my music unless I have the papers in front of me that tell me what chords to play. I mean, I never practice my songs, and I'm always thinking of new things, so that I put it so far out of my mind.
Right.
But once I have the cheat sheets in front of me, then I can play it. And so I could only manage to play like a few bars of Crumble. So really, they had no choice but to go to the scenes, from Crescendo, because I couldn't string it together long enough.
That was serendipity, I think.
It was funny. It was funny. I mean, I probably played a few more measures of it.
Yeah.
But that was a good idea. They asked for some footage, and we gave them some footage of that show.
Right.
Which that show is problematic because we filmed our show at Crescendo, but the audio got damaged, and we only had a piano track, one half of a stereo piano track, but only had the left side of it. And then we had the drums uninterrupted and the vocals uninterrupted. And I think my acoustic guitar is uninterrupted, but every other track had dropouts. Right. So you'd hear the bass play, and then it would drop out for 2 seconds, then it would play for 3 seconds, then it would drop out for 2 seconds. With every track, the electric guitar, the backing vocals, so oddly enough, Crumble was the only thing we could use because it had the piano and bells.
But we do. But there is. I mean, this is okay for public knowledge, right? There is a live album coming out from Orion Studios. Ultimately.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was the objective. Was we've been working really hard for Rosfest, for Summer's End, to try to put together some of this music with this 10-piece band that doesn't live in the same town. So we would get together and rehearse, and we would put all of our energy towards creating this show for the festival, which was a great love of ours, to be able to put up this music that we've worked on and play it live in whatever way we can play it, which we do take a lot of liberties with our arrangements, which I always remember when I was a kid and loving Jungle Giant and going to see them live, and their songs were always so different live than they were on the albums. So it was kind of a nice realization for me that live material can divert from the studio. So we have always tried different things out with the live recordings. Plus, there are certain songs that not everyone ever played on before. They're learning and they're bringing their own spin to it. So the objective of Orion was to preserve some of that work that we had done in preparation for Rosfest and Summer's End. So we went to Orion and set up for a couple of days for the sole purpose of getting good recordings of some of these newer versions. I mean, in fact, you guys visited us in the studio when we were in Los Angeles re-recording Chupacabra and some of the songs that we had been playing live for the purpose of capturing these newer versions of the songs. And Orion was a way, or playing live at Orion Studios for several days was a way to capture that while having an audience and a more controlled environment, but still a live recording. Because I really didn't want to doctor the recordings. If we were to ever do anything with the crescendo footage, we would have to we recorded people's parts on top of the drums that were there, just so that we would have a record of how those songs were played.
Right. Well, is that for public knowledge now? Because I've kind of been sitting on the fact that you remastered or worked on Chupacabras again. Is that?
Oh yeah, I mean, we there's a lot of music that we work on. Yeah, that's fine. There's a lot of music that we work on that we don't necessarily release. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of things in works in progress. There's songs that come and go, and that's what 7.5 is about. It's unreleased stuff that we worked on and either found a home or didn't find a home.
Right.
And so, what one would do with alternate versions of songs that have already been released that you've re-recorded would be to use them as bonus tracks on an album, or use them on a greatest hits type of an album, or as a second side to a live album. What I would like to do is have an album from Orion, derived from Orion, and then have another album with live tracks from songs that we did not do at Orion. We did not do Chupacabra, we did not do Titan, and we did not do certain